Back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. So, Ralph, we would be.
Well,
we have another call.
oh my God!
Well, I get.
Well, give me my headphones back.
That takes care of everything.
Well, that takes care of that.
So, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
What's your name?
My name's Steve.
Steve. Hey, do you got a question for the representative?
I do, yes.
Are you one of his voters?
I am not, no.
Oh, okay. Well, we like having you anyway. Let's see what's your question.
That's too bad, Steve.
Well, my question is I asked the same question to Bryce when he was on Doc and Lefty. And
that's Steve.
I'd like to know that what your position is on cannabis oil.
Okay. Cannabis oil. Go ahead.
Medical cannabis oil. Yes.
Medical cannabis oil. As you probably know, if you're familiar with that issue, the legislature passed in 2014 a opportunity for people to get cannabinoid oil for a very narrow use for intractable epilepsy and a very narrow focus. There were several attempts in the last session to expand on that, and the question that always comes up is, where do you want to go with cannabis? Cannabinoid oil is one issue that I think we could probably control better, and we could probably expand the use of it. But before I take a position on that, show me the bill. Show me what it is that we'd like to do before I tell you my position on it. Now, I'm open-minded on the oil to a certain extent, but cannabis has become kind of the miracle drug, so to speak, for a lot of things. And I am personally not in favor of going the route that Colorado and a couple other states have done with recreational marijuana. And I think there's a lot of folks that would like to do that. So that's basically my position on it.
Okay. I do have a follow-up question.
Okay.
So, you voted against that bill, correct?
In 2014?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you met with Erin and her little son, Abraham, correct?
I did.
Yes, and you told her that you were in favor of it, and then you switched your vote. I want to know,
if you're bringing up that one instance, there's been a lot of misinformation that was put out there about that particular instance. When I met with Erin, the issue that came up was an issue that the bill was being discussed in Commerce Committee. And I voted to bring it out of the Commerce Committee as a Republican. If I hadn't voted for that, it wouldn't have had a chance to come out of Commerce Committee. Well, I don't have control of it after it comes out of the committee. It didn't come up for debate. And I've been hammered about that this whole campaign, that somehow that's my fault. There's been a lot of issues that have been misrepresented in that whole case with Erin, and I won't go into them here. But someday I'll have the opportunity to do that.
Sure. The last question is on clean energy.
Yes.
So what is you've been talking about clean energy and what I took from what you just said about coal versus wind power is that it was all financial based. I didn't hear anything in your statement on your position that about wind energy being clean, being renewable, being something that is great for the environment, and we're not putting all of this pollution in the air. I didn't hear anything from you on that. So why would you just sit there and say that it's all about financial and it's just about finances? Surely you guys can figure this out as a representative of the people. That's your job, is to figure that out, is it not?
Well, you mentioned pollution in the air. What pollution are you talking about, John?
Sure,
Steve?
From coal and all of that. Nuclear, everything it's not good for the environment.
Nuclear has no emissions.
No emissions, correct, but there's definitely substance that needs to be retained, correct?
Yeah, there's some byproducts of the
right?
fuel process.
So what my question is why is it all financial based?
Well, because that's the facts of life. That's the facts of life. That's if you want to talk about the impact of these kinds of things on climate, that's a whole different discussion, a whole different issue. And
no, it's not.
Yes, it is. You aren't going to change the climate with renewables. But that's just the way it is. That's the fact of life.
Is it not?
Pardon?
Is it a step forward?
Solar won't change. The solar use won't change the climate.
Well, Steve, I'm gonna.
You just yeah.
And let me break in here for a second because I think this conversation is gonna would extend past the limits of the show. But also, I wanted to point out one thing, and I think this is a fair comment that Representative Watts does not agree with the notion that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that has a negative effect, a pollutive effect on the environment. Now, we can disagree. Honest minds can disagree about that.
Right. That's exactly right.
But what we can't do right this minute is to have a prolonged discussion about that particular issue. So if the question is Representative Watts, how can you say that carbon dioxide is not a greenhouse gas? That would be a different show. We'd need more time to get into that, and so that's why. Just to answer your question, Steve. That's why
I didn't
has
say
that position.
I didn't say that CO2 wasn't a greenhouse gas. It is a greenhouse gas. The question is whether a greenhouse gas creates the damage to our climate that many people have been led to believe.
And that's more what I meant.
And that's a wider issue.
And we want to thank you for your question, Steve, because we appreciate you calling in and asking the two people the same questions. We really do appreciate it. Now, thanks a lot for calling in.
Absolutely. And
anytime.
And we'd love to have you call in again.
You bet. Now, you wanted to spend some time talking about, your campaign and your opponent. So we're going to go a little bit over time.
Sure.
Maddie, nobody coming in? All right. So you're running against a guy named Bryce Smith, who is, he's a local business owner and appears to have a fairly conservative outlook on this. At least that's what he's tried to pass that off. By the way, my shirt says, "Where's the food?" just to make sure that everybody's clear on that. So what's your response to his attacks that he's had on you?
I think the issue there is, number one, my opponent has really tried, but he hasn't been able to make the case yet to bring the issue of age in this campaign.
So you're not going to make a big deal out of his inexperience in youth. Is that it?
Right. I was there
because Reagan.
I remember when he did that.
I'd respond to that and say, I knew Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was a friend of mine, and you two are no Ronald Reagan.
No Ronald Reagan, but I was there when I was listening when he said it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
If you call a person that wants free tuition, free education, he wants to live off of his parents' insurance till he's 26 years old, conservative, well, fine. I don't think so. There's been little snippets of attacks along the way, and he's tried to get traction from it. And quite frankly, he's shown me, and I typically don't attack my opponents unless they attack me. I'm just not that kind of a guy. I don't conduct my campaigns that way. Today, there was an article in the Prairie News about a meeting I had last night with the school board superintendents and principals from Dallas County and several of the schools. When they wrote the story, they called Bryce Smith and asked him what he thought about it. He says, "Well, he was excluded." That's a lie. He wasn't excluded. He didn't even ask to be. He could have been if he wanted to be there. If he'd have known about it, he could have been there. We invited the press. If it was a closed meeting like he let it out to be, why would the press be there? And if he wanted to be there, I would have invited him. Bryce has put things out on his Facebook that some videos that, well, I wouldn't debate him. I've asked him several times to debate. Let's set up a debate. If you want to debate, let's debate. He won't debate. He's always busy, doesn't have the time. So, you know,
So if me and Lefty said, well, listen, we're going to set up a debate and try to live stream it, which neither one of us have the capability to figure that out. Yeah. Maddie, that'd be up to you. So you're saying right now, if we could set that up, you'd come in and debate
Absolutely.
Bryce. All right. So you want to reach out to Bryce, and
maybe we can make that happen.
Yeah, maybe we could.
I've never moderated a debate before.
I haven't either.
I would rely on either one of you to conduct it.
All right.
That was part of his problem. Well, who would be the moderator? I don't care who the moderator is.
What now? We had your campaign director. Is that how he phrased it?
Carter Nordman?
Yes. What do you have anything to say about that magnificent young man who's a conservative through and through?
He is a magnificent young man, and I met him halfway through this campaign. He came and offered to help me out, and it didn't take me long to recognize that Carter has some real potential. He's only a senior in high school, but he has some very solid talent, I think, that could be developed over the years.
You do know he's gunning for your seat, right?
Hey, time cures everything.
Time cures everything.
What's the limit? It's 25 in the state of Iowa to be a representative.
So you're safe for the next 7 years.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, but he is going to be my clerk this next year in the legislative session. So
should you win?
Well, yeah.
All due respect to your opponent.
All right. So do you have any polling at all that shows how you guys run?
I don't do any polling in my district at all.
All right. So last I checked, over in Dallas County, you guys had like a plus 11 or something, Republicans, something nuts like that.
It's pretty high.
It's pretty good. It's not as good a district as I had the first 10 years that I served, because I had West Des Moines, Waukee, and Clive, plus a lot of the rest of Dallas County. But the growth in the redistricting then divided up that, and I've got a more rural district now, but it's still favorable.
All right. What's going to be on the legislative agenda next year that you foresee?
I think it depends on what happens in the Senate.
All right.
Entirely what happens in the Senate.
And fundraising is going well for you, I'm assuming, out there.
It is. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've
been satisfied with that.
You're beating the pants off of Bryce as far as the signs go, because I go out there and roll around on the weekends on my motorcycle. Because
there's some nice roads out there.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I can tell you the Ralph Watts signs are about, I'd say, 6-1.
Well,
so is that about what you're seeing?
I've had some folks that I've had signs in their yards or along their fences for years, and I just put them up again.
All right. Well, on Facebook, you saw that your name was on the side of a giant silo.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, because Republicans rule. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to say about your campaign or anything like that?
Well, I think it's going generally pretty well. I don't like some of the chipping away and some of the lying that's going on in the background on issues. If you want to debate on the issues, if you want to deal with the issues, then come out and debate. But just chipping away in the background, I think is not very complimentary to any candidate. And I've never had a candidate do that.
Do you feel disrespected?
Well, yeah, I think it's. I don't like anybody lying about me, and my family doesn't like anybody lying about me. They are my middle linebacker and my guardian, so to speak.
So quit that, Blake.
Hey, if you can't take it, don't be in politics, buddy. No. If you don't want people lying about you.
That's a fair statement. And I would say yes. And if you want to continue that, come on out of the
woodwork
sideline. I'll come out of the woodwork. and less debate.
But I will
like
tell you,
two men ought to debate.
I will tell you that people that make a habit of doing stuff like that, and not to cast any accusation on either side, but people that make a habit of doing stuff like that eventually comes back to them. So
that's right.
And they don't have long political careers if they make that make that a
unless you're
point.
Clinton.
That's right. Unless you.
All right, so Ralph, how do people get a hold of you
Texas.
to complain at you and call you?
My number is in the phone book in Adel. You can look in the phone directory.
Right.
My home phone is there, and you can get a hold of me in my legislative email at ralph.watts@legis.iowa.gov. Just send me an email.
Alrighty.
Well, we want to thank you and your beautiful wife for
Thank
coming
you for
on
the
tonight.
time.
We appreciate it. Maybe next year we'll have you on and discuss a little politics on there.
I'd love to.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Many thanks to Ralph Watts, representative in the 19th District, which represents Adel, the greatest city in Dallas County. You got anything going on this week?
I do. I'm doing a little show at Glen Oaks on Friday. Hang out with some of the
Cake eater.
the latte sipping liberals over there, and then doing the farmers market at Mickey's downtown at 10 o'clock on Saturday.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
So I got to
Sounds
fight
like
my
fun.
way through the crowd down there?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
For
All
sure.
right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Remember, we can't do what we do without you. We will be back right after this week.
Hi, I'm Representative Tom Shaw, and I love these guys. Both of them.
Love these guys. Get over here. Love both of them.